Okay, thanks, Niall. And as always, we are joined by Gabriel McSharry, medical nutritionist and herbalist in the studio. This morning, Gabriel, we're going to be talking about how to prevent the winter colds and flus.
Well, yeah, we can mention it, yeah. I mean, we talked about it a few weeks ago as well, but it seems to be a lot of calls coming through each week on it. And I guess as the weather gets colder and more people develop colds and flus, there's some really important things one can do to, I mean, the key is to keep the immune system robust, and with that, that'll prevent colds and flus. But I suppose, as we mentioned before, the few main things there is one is to on a dietary level to cut out sugar. It's shown in studies that sugar and foods containing sugar, so all sweets and stuff like that, will cut the immune system in half. So it reduces your white blood cells by 50%, and so you don't want that. You want to get the sugars out, and also trans fat, so heated oils like they're in potatoes and chips, so there are things you should take out, and then there's things you should add, like things like berries and vegetables and so on, which are
all fresh. Is it that you should be taking?
Yeah, well, I suppose ideally fresh and organic, but then fresh, and then berries, I suppose, are things that can freeze quite well, but generally fresh is best, and as unprocessed as possible. So a lot of the things that are canned and stuff like that, or that are added to syrups and stuff, I'd avoid all them. So there's some good things, and there's some really good herbs then that'll keep the immune system robust, like echinacea, astragalus, golden seal, and so that's all prevention. And then with treatment, if one does get a cold or flu, there's some great immune stimulants and antiviral, antimicrobial herbs. I suppose some that you could add to your food would be like onions and garlic from the same family, but really good antibiotics. And other herbs one can take in tincture form or capsules, I have them, is echinacea, astragalus, podarco, golden seal, berberis, elderberry. All these have antiviral activity, antimicrobial, antibiotic, and so on. So,
and then what I'm going to try it myself is vitamin D, because I'd be someone who would get colds over and over and over again and again. That helps as a prevention, is it? Or
definitely. Well, ideally, we synthesize vitamin D from the sun, and unfortunately, in our latitude here in Ireland, for 6 months of the year or so, we won't. Just because the sun is never high enough in the sky, and it's overcast a lot too around the times that it is high enough. So the dietary sources of vitamin D naturally are from fat and blood. You don't find it anywhere else,
right?
And for the last 30 years we've been told to stay away from fats and go low fats, which has been really poor advice now in hindsight. But because of that, and because we don't get much sun, or when the sun is out, we're told to cover up or put on sunblock and so on. We've all become insufficient or deficient in vitamin D, and vitamin D is really important for the immune system to keep it robust, and it's also a strong antiviral. So, like when it comes to flus, vitamin D is paramount, so maybe a natural supplement is a good quality cod liver oil, has vitamin D, and you can get vitamin D on its own in supplement form as well, so it's very important for flus.
Okay. All right, we have a quick break to take, and when we come back, we'll be answering some of your questions. You can send them in to us now by text to 083 3500 530. Call us at 0818 365 500.
Ocean FM. Northwest Today, with thanks to Enda Lannon Pharmacies, Ballysadare and Gurchin. For all your prescription and pharmacy needs. Enda Lannon Pharmacies, putting your health first. 071 9133 033. Ocean FM.
Special offers at your next door off-licence. Killybegs, Ballyshannon and Manor Hamilton include great deals on Sutter Home, Torres Sang de Toro, Connoisseur and Bend in the River wine ranges. Bud 10-pack bottles, $14.99. Bavaria cans, 4 for €5. Bulmers, 6 bottles for the price of 5. While stocks last at your next door off-licence. Enjoy alcohol responsibly.
Ashtree Garden Centre, Drumstevlin, Donegal Town. Loads of colour for your garden. Massive range of spring flowering bulbs in stock at unbeatable prices. Don't forget to feed the birds. Wide ranges of feeds including seeds, peanuts and treats. Ashtree Garden Centre, Drumstevlin, Donegal Town. 074 9722 303.
Mothercare have arrived at the Cleaver Retail Park and have brought the Early Learning Centre along too. This will be the largest Mothercare in Ireland, with a huge selection of maternity and kids clothes, push chairs, car seats, nursery and toys. Come and see our fantastic toy and gift range for Christmas. Trust Mothercare.
Pet Stop, Pierce Road, Sligo, Ballina and Ballinacaro. Chicken coops and houses now available. 25 kg layer pellets, just €10 per bag. At Pet Stop, Pierce Road, Sligo, Ballina and Ballinacaro.
I'm still going to go back to college and do that course like I've always wanted.
I'm still going to open my own business like I've always planned.
I'm still going to visit my daughter in Australia. An unplanned pregnancy is not the end of the world. Free text LIST to 50444 or visit positiveoptions.ie for a list of free, non-judgmental counselling agencies that will help you to pick up the pieces. Positive Options. Crisis Pregnancy Services.
Are you going to the Sligo Rovers game?
Yeah, why?
Well, the Clarion Hotel Liffey Valley are offering bed and breakfast at €45 per person sharing. They're offering free coach transfer to and from the match.
Seriously?
Absolutely. They're also offering 2 nights bed and breakfast and 1 evening meal. Only €198 for 2.
Where can I get more information?
Contact 01625 8002 or email info@clarionhotelliffeyvalley.com.
Will do.
To have your say, call the Northwest Today comment line on 0818 365 500. Text your comment to 083 3500 530.
And you're welcome back to the programme. We are in the company of Gabriel McSharry, medical herbalist and nutritionist, who is in studio with us. You can send in your questions to 083 3500 530. Call us at 0818 365 500. Now, we had a question asked us what Candida is.
Yeah, Candida is, I suppose, short for Candida albicans, and it's a family of yeast or fungus, and it resides in the body, in the intestine, and that's okay. I guess it's supposed to be there in certain levels. It's fine, but with the intestine has a whole ecosystem of bacteria and fungi and so on, and what happens is that if the bacteria colonies get suppressed or wiped out for whatever reason, antibiotics, but also chemicals in the environment and poor diet and stuff, then the Candida can overgrow, and it kind of takes the terrain, we'll say, of the bacteria, and then it becomes a problem. So it's not a problem until it kind of overgrows, because if it overgrows, then it can adhere to the gut wall, and it can damage the gut lining, and then it can set up, I suppose, the terrain for one to develop allergies and food allergies and so on. So it is a very important issue with regards to health, in that, well, we know now that for a long time we've really overconsumed antibiotics, and even not just in prescription drugs, but in our farming standards, where we prophylactically give antibiotics to chickens and animals who are grown in really unhealthy environments just to keep infection low. Mm-hmm. And that passes on to the human. And it also is the source of the things like MRSA and these resistant strain infections that you get in hospitals and so on. But anyway, Candida is in there. It's a player, it's a fungus or a yeast, and when it does overgrow, it can create a lot of bloating or flatulence or pain in the abdomen, or altered bowel function, diarrhea, constipation. But on top of that, then it can create a lot of things like headaches and fatigue, and then externally I suppose fungus some people get it under the toenails and fingernails, and some people get it on the skin, and so all these are quite difficult to treat, and anyone who does report it tends to have it chronically. It's gone on for years and they've tried many things and so on. So today we'll outline a few things. With Candida albicans, it's very opportunistic, so it's like a hardy bugger, and you really need to kind of approach it from many different areas. So there's like an anti-fungal or anti-candida diet, there's herbs, there's lifestyle modifications and so on, and there's topical treatments if it's external, and the key really is to throw everything at it, so with regards diet, a diet rich in good quality meats and chicken and eggs and seeds and nuts and vegetables, and healthy oils, so oils that haven't been heated up, and on top of that, then you should avoid sugars and carbohydrate rich foods. So the basis of that is really all fungus. It's an anaerobic microorganism, so it doesn't need oxygen for energy and so on. It actually needs sugar. So you get candida overgrowth generally in patients with diabetes and that, who have high sugar in their blood,
right.
And so the key, I guess, in general, is to restrict sugars. Again, it's down to an immune thing as well, but all sugars should be cut out, and processed carbohydrates, so baked goods and refined white flours and so on.
Should be cut out?
Yeah, cut out, yeah, as much as possible. And get your carbohydrates from vegetables and fruits and so on. That'll be the best way to go. I see some dietitians or nutritionists will recommend to also avoid fruit for a period of time. I don't know about that. I definitely fruit juice. It's high in natural sugars, but pieces of fruit here and there are okay, But
when you think of your 5 a day, so.
Yeah, but I suppose 5 a day in normal circumstances, but with, I suppose, a strong overgrowth of fungus, you'd want to really get your 5 a day from vegetables that are low in sugars, which are fine. Like all your
most vegetables are high in sugar, like sort of.
Well, your high vegetable, they're high starchy vegetables. So like carrots are really high in sugar.
Really?
So if you have a pure carrot juice, try it out. It's lovely actually, but it's quite sweet. Like potatoes or starchy vegetables, yams, they're all really high in sugars, so they break down to sugar in the blood, and these things should be, I guess, in normal circumstances they're fine, but where there's a yeast overgrowth, it can be limited for a period of time, and when you say 5 a day, there's vegetables and like green leafy vegetables, spinach, lettuce and stuff, green beans and berries. All these are low in sugars, but yet they're packed full of antioxidants and flavonoids and all this that lead to, I suppose, the 5 a day recommendation. So it's important to watch sugar intake and get good proteins and fats intake. So fish oil too is really good here, and get plenty of exercise. Exercise is very important for all bodily functions, but it's important to get good fresh air and exercise all the time.
Should you walk, we'll say, for example, every day, or maybe
I think
number of days a week? Or
my base recommendation is a 30 to 60 minute walk every day, and unless you have an injury or disability, really we all should be able to manage that. And the weather is terrible and it's freezing and it's lashing rain, but in Ireland I recommend people get a pair of waterproofings. Get the clothing that we can still get out for a 30-minute walk, even if the day is really wet and so on. You'll feel great when you come in,
Yeah.
It's more than just the exercise. It's the fresh air, and it's the movement of the body, increases circulation.
So it
The
helps
lungs-
to keep you fit and tone
Definitely.
you up. And
But it helps detoxify the body in that the lungs exchange stale air for fresh air, and it aids the movement of blood around the body and the circulation. And it's, you don't need to go down to the gym and kill yourself. A brisk 30-minute walk is great. So
and some people say you should walk after your dinner. Some people say walk before your dinner. It doesn't matter.
I'd say it's horses for courses. Whatever suits you, do it. Some people like to walk after a meal just to kind of burn it up and keep the enzymes and the circulation moving and stuff. But it's really whatever at this stage, whatever suits you and whatever gets you out exercising, just go with that. Because the statistics are spiraling out of control in Ireland. Like obesity and diabetes, or people who are overweight in general, like we're fast becoming like the United States, and it's quite scary. And we really need to get real on this, get real with exercise and get real with diet. And because and you can go by your BMI scale, you get it on, put it into the internet, you get all the BMI calculators, this body mass index. You really should be between 18 and 25. That's the normal range, and it doesn't matter where you are on that range, just be in that range. And then if it's 25 to 30, if you're in that category, you're overweight, and then above 30 then is obese. Now, it's a flawed system in that if you were a bodybuilder, you'd probably be in the overweight or obese category. But that aside, it's a pretty good indicator of healthy weight in medicine. And really, you want to aim for you to be within the 18 and 25 range. And like I think it's 50% Irish people is over 25,
Oh, right, okay.
Or overweight or obese and stuff. And it's we really need to turn it around, because the basis is that if you're overweight or the obese category, you just have more potential to develop chronic illness.
Okay,
And so it's important to keep an eye on that.
all right. Now, just some of the questions that have come in to us. What do you think of child essence and concentration essence for children? Don't know what that is.
I've never heard of them.
Neither have I.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Neither do I. Maybe someone will look up and maybe try and follow up
Yeah.
next week, because I don't know anything about it either.
It
I've never
sounds
heard
like
of
the brand name of a supplement or something. But
Will it be? Okay, well, or if that listener would like to ring us back and just give us a little bit more detail, and we'll certainly check it out. Now, anything for a man with no sex drive, a listener wants to know.
Yeah, well, again, we need to assess the reason why. But as women go through a thing called menopause, usually around 50, men go through a thing called andropause, and it's something that's not really talked about that often, because it's not as severe. So in women, say around 50, there's this steep drop off in certain hormones, whereas in men it starts around 30s, and there's this gradual drop off in testosterone and androgens. After a certain age, as we age, testosterone goes below a certain threshold, and therefore libido, sex drive, largely reduces. I'd like to know the age of this guy, but that aside, if he's not, elderly, and he's a youngish man and should have libido and sex drive, definitely look at stress can affect it, but it's at a hormonal level. So there's some on a herbal medicine front, there's some herbs like the ginsengs, so there's Panax and Siberian ginseng, and these are things that are used in Asia for, like, all men over 45 generally take them, and they're a good tonic for the body, good tonic for the hormones, good tonic for the immune system, and there's a number of other ones. There's about 7 or 8 what we call adaptogen tonics, and they're all things that will boost sex drive and libido in men, and there's certain ones that will do it in women as well, and they can work very well, but in my opinion, in conjunction with things like diet, nutrition, exercise as well, they can work really well.
Okay. All right. And a person who gets reoccurring sore throats?
Right, well, if it's with any infection that's reoccurring, the immune system is involved and it's not doing its job. And as I mentioned earlier, for flus and that, you need to optimise the immune system. Recurrent sore throats, I wonder, do you have sinusitis or getting bunged up, a blocked nose, and then you might get a post-nasal drip down into the throat area, where you have a kind of a drip from the back and a nose down into the throat, and it's this constant infection going on and hoarseness. A gargle is great for this. I use a gargle with 3 herbs in it that'll tend to wipe out a kind of a throat infection within 2 days. And something you might have in your house is a salt water gargle. You can try that, and it'll also help it.
Okay, next week we are going to do a piece on seasonal affective disorder. Yeah, and better known as SADS, is it?
SAD, yeah. So it's mainly a type of depression that one develops in the winter months, and it's due to, I guess, a decrease in light and UV, and it's a big one in Ireland, and so we've got a few questions in to talk about that, so we'll do a show on it next week.
Okay, Gabriel McSharry, medical herbalist and nutritionist, thanks for joining us in the studio this morning. Of course, you're back, as we said, next week. And if people want to contact you, they can contact you on
07191 22832. That's 22832.
That's brilliant. Thanks a million, Gabriel, and we'll talk to you again next week. And for people who have sent us in questions, we'll send those to Gabriel, and we'll get those dealt with next week. Okay.